Well, obviously, a lot of them are in shock. They've had mixed emotions. When I called up and spoke to the captains, a whole bunch of guys came over to the last building last night and out into my office. We discussed team matters.
Mark?
Have you been given any indication the team will be playing after Saturday?
What do you mean playing after Saturday?
Will there be football games after Saturday?
Hopefully so. That's up to the administration.
John?
Coach, you guys have a lot left to play for. Can you talk about getting this team, back together, considering what they've been through and trying to march forward with what could potentially still be in front of you?
We have great leadership on this football team. Okay, once again, when I spoke to them this morning, it's their team. Okay, they're not here for me. I'm here to help them be as good as they can possibly be, and that's the direction we're going. I don't think there's any problem. They will be focused. My job is to make sure they stay focused. Obviously, they've had a tremendous amount of distractions over the past week. It's a very resilient group. Okay, they will come to play on Saturday.
Corey?
Given the intense national scrutiny for Mike McQueary, why do you think it's appropriate for him to coach in this game and continue to be a face for this university?
That's a decision that's up to Mark Sherwood, who's our acting athletic director.
In the back?
Was there any consideration given to dismissing Mike McQueary? Were you part of any conversations whatsoever about potentially relieving him of his duties with the football team?
Absolutely not.
Ron?
Hey, Tom, I know you've waited a long time to be a head coach. You couldn't imagine under these circumstances. Can you sum up your feelings?
Well, we're obviously in a very unprecedented situation that we find ourselves in, and I just, you guys find a way to restore the confidence and start a healing process with everybody, and we're going to try to go about it. It's, as I said earlier, it's with very mixed emotion and a heavy heart that this has occurred, that I'm going through this.
Matt?
Tom, you said that you hope that this team can finish the rest of the season, but it's up to the administration. Are you saying there's a chance the administration could cancel the rest of the season?
That has never come up yet, so that's why I'm not sure on that question.
Okay, you're on the right.
Coach Bradley, I understand your reluctance to maybe go in this direction, but I just would like to ask you, in the interest of transparency and getting everything off to as fresh and clean a start as possible, could you comment on what you did know about the Sandusky allegations and what steps you may have taken to report them, and why or why not you did report them, if you knew them?
I've answered this question before. Due to the ongoing investigation, I'm not going to comment on that matter.
Ron?
Tom, what do you think the state of your team will be with all this craziness this week? How do you think they'll play Saturday?
I think they'll be ready to play Saturday. They had a lengthy team meeting after I got done today, and they talked it out. There's this afternoon, there's a letter arriving from the former Penn State football letterman who wrote a letter to these guys, explaining to them the importance of what Penn State means, and I think they'll be ready to play.
In the back?
Coach, in light of what happened with student conduct last night, what message would you have for students anticipating before, during, and after the game Saturday?
Well, I think the message is clear. Let's show them what Penn State's really all about. Okay, it's not about some of those activities. Let's show class, let's show dignity, and let's show what we're really all about.
Mark?
Tom, how has all this impacted recruiting the kids that you already have commitments from and moving forward in that regard? I have to imagine it's difficult to explain these things to a lot of these kids who are looking at the program.
I will address tonight at 7:30 with the parents and families of our current players, and after that 8 o'clock I will address the recruits.
In the back?
Tom, thanks. Understanding that you are unwilling to talk about the specific allegations, in general, what's your thought about whether football coaches have a responsibility to report wider allegations of sex crimes, either to officials, to police? In general, do football coaches have a wider responsibility responsibility beyond what goes on the field and with their players?
We all have a responsibility to take care of our children, all of us.
Mike, on the left.
Coach, were you, when these allegations first surfaced, were you aware Coach Sandusky was still on campus, still at an office, still working out? And if so, what did you do about that? What was your feeling like?
Yes, I was aware of that.
Did you do
Okay,
anything?
this was taken to a higher authority that was handling that.
Do you think it was appropriate for him to remain on
Once again,
campus?
it's an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, in the back.
This has obviously tarnished Joe Paterno's legacy. How do you kind of repair Penn State's image at this point?
It's a rather lengthy answer. I could get into that, and I'm not sure I have all the answers right now.
Jerry.
Scrap, there's been a movement on the social networks, media networks, to maybe try to get a lot of the former players to come back. Have you been in contact with any former players? Have they contacted you in support of
I've
what's...
been here for 35 years. You think I've got a lot of emails by now with the former players. And I don't know if you know about the Penn State players, but it's a tight-knit group. It's a family group. They'll be here on Saturday.
In the back.
Coach, over here. After Paterno's resignation, what would have been his resignation, this would have been his last home game. Are there any plans to have any kind of tribute or acknowledgement of him? And if so, do you think that's appropriate?
Right now, I'm not sure there are any. I don't know where that stands. Obviously, if the players do a tribute, if there's anything I can do about that. I'm not aware of any university plans right now.
John.
I know it's very soon. Can you talk about Saturday, the contrast of showing empathy and at the same time showing solidarity for Penn State when you talk about players coming back and the like?
Well, I think the solidarity with everybody, first off, everybody's thoughts and prayers with the families, the children, and those. So it's more than football. They realize that. They're coming back on Saturday, a lot of them, because they want to show support to the Penn State program, the pride that they have in Penn State football and the Penn State University.
Tom.
Coach, in your mind, where should Joe Paterno be Saturday?
Coach Paterno has meant more to me than anybody except my father. And I don't want to get emotional and start talking about that, okay?
Ron.
Tom, can you talk about, I know you didn't get the formal invitation to the lesson, when did you get a sense that this thing was going south and that this might happen?
I didn't ever have a sense, as I said last night. I was down at the office working on the game plan, actually, and didn't have any idea what was going on.
In the back.
Coach, what is Jay Paterno's status on your staff, and have you discussed this with him, and what are his feelings on all of this?
I texted Jay early this morning. We met right after the staff meeting. Jay and I met. He will be coaching on Saturday. Jay's a great competitor. He knows he has a job to do. He wants to do that job. I'm sure he has a heavy heart and for his love for his father. But Jay will be with the team.
Bob.
Hey, Tom, as a Penn State guy, would you like to be thought of as more than an interim head coach moving forward?
I guess I just want to do the best job I can do for this football team.
In the back.
Do you know if there's any truth to seniors potentially sitting out the game on Saturday?
No, they're not going to do that.
Here on the right.
Coach Bradley, witnesses to grand juries are free to talk about what they testified to if they wish. Is your reluctance a personal decision, or have you been advised not to do that by university counsel? Can you elaborate on that?
I've been advised not to do that, okay, by counsel.
In the back.
During your conversation with Mark Schoenberg, any talk of you possibly becoming the permanent head coach? Any promise or conversation at all?
No, not at all. No, none.
In the back.
Understanding it is the administration's decision, you just mentioned your close relationship with Joe Paterno. Do you think he should have had one last home game? Do you think that he should have been allowed to coach this last game just to say goodbye?
You know, the whole week has been something of a whirlwind, okay? It's been an unprecedented week. I'm sure that the Board of Trustees made a decision with the facts that they had, and they decided to do what they did. I often tell my players, hey,